From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your morning update.
You want to go where to buy a new refrigerator? Steve's A to Z Appliance in Cottonwood? In Cottonwood? Just a 10-minute drive. And they'll save us money. New and used, honest, reliable, factory-trained repair service and parts, and they'll save us money. And dispose of this thing? We gotta make the short drive to Steve's A to Z. Thanks, son.
Steve's A to Z Appliance, front and main streets in Cottonwood. Drive a little, save a lot.
Happy Friday morning to you. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Kruger. Let's get you through Kruger's Quickcast, let you know what to expect this morning and taking you through the afternoon as well. And a quick forecast here. There you can see this morning as you're heading out the door. I think it'll be a bit hazy in the valley. Probably not as smoky as I was anticipating yesterday, but still looking at some of that smoke coming in from the Boise fire. That should keep things a little bit hazy, especially for the valley in Trinity County this morning. Some fog along the coast, otherwise plenty of sunshine for Siskiyou, Modoc County and the eastern mountains as well. Looking at futurecasts, I don't anticipate any rain today. There may be a stray sprinkle or light shower in Siskiyou County, maybe Modoc County, Lassen County, but for the most part, just in the form of some of those afternoon cumulus clouds. Otherwise, we're looking at some of that fog probably persisting for a good portion of the day here for the coast. By tonight, looks like things clear out, but look at behind me. That's what's coming in here for the weekend. Stick around a little bit later. We'll be taking a closer look at what that rain and those thunderstorms will do as we get into the weekend. Taking a look at that forecast smoke again this morning, there you can see some of the haze. You may have that smell of smoke in the morning as well. And then as we go through the afternoon, you see how it dissipates. So it looks like conditions will improve. We may see another plume of smoke coming in from the Boise fire, but not quite as intense as we've seen over the last few days. So conditions will improve there as well. Let's take a look at what we can expect here for today across the board. Again, the hazy skies improving though through the afternoon. Temperatures will be in the low to even some mid-90s for those daytime highs, so still a bit on the warm side. Temperatures in the 80s for many of the higher elevations, and we're talking in the low to mid-60s here for the coast. No big changes there. Let's take a look at that 7-day outlook. There's that chance for thunderstorms on Saturday. Chico, you have a slimmer chance. Basically, as you head south of Redding and Red Bluff, those chances really do begin to diminish as far as any chances for thunderstorms are concerned. And then it dries out and it begins to warm up again a little bit as we take you into next week. Now, for the coast, thunderstorms, but we may see a lingering chance for Sunday afternoon as well. A little bit more detail that in a little bit later. And of course, chance for thunderstorms inland, and not to mention for the Trinity County area as well. Now, for Mount Shasta, yes. For Alturas, okay, maybe late in the day on Saturday. So you'll go through the day on Saturday, nothing's going on, and then suddenly maybe Saturday evening, Saturday night, a chance for a shower or thunderstorm. Susanville, most of the eastern mountains should remain dry. However, places like eastern Shasta County, Bernie, for example, maybe Shingletown could look at a straight shower or thunderstorm as well. So it just depends on where you are. All right, that's your Kruger's Quickcast, as quick as I could get it. Now you can go on with your day, know what to expect here for today, and of course, at least parts of the weekend, but more detail on the weekend here in a second. Do want to remind you, as these storms are pushing through on Saturday, you can track those storms from the free Weather NorCal app. It'll give you any watches or warnings where you are. You can also watch the latest weather forecast and everything Weather NorCal has to offer right there from your phone. Just search for Weather NorCal in your App Store or Google Play Store for your iPhone or your Android, and you'll be good to go. All right, here's your weather headlines. Cooler this weekend. Showers and thunderstorms on Saturday. Stronger winds going into the weekend, but no big heat waves going through next week. So we've got a lot to really talk about here with the weather that's heading our way. Number one, this morning, the air quality, you can see, especially to the east and even south. So you can see the north end of the valley, we've got some fairly poor air quality. It does improve, though, as you head down to the south, and that will improve here throughout the day today. There's the latest look at the Park Fire at over 429,000 acres, now at 47% containment. That's as of 5 o'clock this morning. Remember, these fires are a moving target, so we can report the fires and then 2 seconds later, those numbers are going to be different. So remember that as you're watching this, that the containment number may have gone up a little bit here. We don't know yet, all right? But there you can see the fire perimeter hasn't changed really almost in about a week. So you can see the protected communities like Mineral, Mill Creek, and Childs Meadows still in good shape. We're not seeing the fire move any closer to any of those areas. Now we take a look at the Boise fire again, moving target as far as acres and containment. I will say this on containment. What the firefighters are saying and the fire agency in charge of this fire are saying is that don't be concerned about that 0% containment. They're being very conservative on putting any containment numbers on there until they really feel 100% confident that that line is going to hold. They've got a very unforgiving environment here. This is a very steep and rough terrain here that they're dealing with here, so things can change just like that. So that's why they don't want to put any containment numbers on there just yet, but nothing to be terribly concerned about. And really, when we look at this over the last few days, haven't seen much growth on that west and north perimeter here, or even down to the south. So we're still at about 2.5 miles from Orleans, and again, just over 10,000 acres. Again, that number may change here through the morning hours. Zooming out here, Hoopa hasn't moved any closer to you either, at about 14.5 miles. Same thing for Soames Bar. It has to go over a couple of ridges before it gets to Soames Bar at about 6.1 miles. And again, just some perspective. You can see that steep slope up to that ridge here east of Orleans. That ridge has, it's held there. In fact, early on, they did do a firing operation on that ridge to help prevent that fire from moving over. And so far, looks like so good at this point. So certainly some good news there. All right, let's go and take a look at that smoke forecast beyond today. And so again, you can see how conditions are improving as we go into this afternoon, evening. A bit of a plume of smoke developing later this afternoon, evening, pushing eastward. That really should not sustain itself very well. Look at that, by Saturday morning, 6 a.m., fairly smoke-free, quite honestly. And then as we go into Saturday afternoon, looking pretty good, and we're not seeing a lot of smoke coming in from the Boise fire, and that could partially be, just depends on how much rain we get on that fire here. Now, we're a little concerned about maybe the potential for lightning strikes, but of course, we have some good moisture kind of coming on in here as we go into Saturday. Let's take a look at the forecast winds. So I've got the Boise fire here, and of course, you got the Park fire. Now, today, the winds overall aren't going to be that bad, but as that storm system comes in on Saturday, look at these winds. They are really starting to pick up here, especially to the east of the valley here. And when we take a look at the humidity levels, though, I want to mention this because, you know, we're going to be looking at humidity levels a little bit better because those winds are coming in from the southwest. So we can see here for today, yeah, still fairly dry, but again, we're staying away from those single digits in the humidity levels. So that has been a big help for us this week, even for the Boise fire, despite the fact that it has grown. Then you go into Saturday. Now, it was looking like earlier it was going to maybe be around 26, 27% in Chico. Now it's dropped to 22. We're not seeing as much green here on the ridge here either. So, yes, humidity levels are improving, but look still how dry it is off to the east. That's going to play a significant role in that fire danger. Now, we're kind of in that moderate range here for today, and not to mention even tomorrow. So I don't think this is really the best gauge. You see, it kind of picks up a little bit with some of those winds on Saturday, even off to the east. That picks up as well. But the National Weather Service has issued for Saturday a fire weather watch for most of Modoc County and eastern Lassen County. So essentially what's going to happen is, yes, we've got those winds coming off the ocean, but as you start going on the downside, on the leeward side or the eastern side of those mountains, that air compresses and heats up and dries out. So a little concerned about those gusty winds on Saturday. That could elevate that fire danger. Not necessarily looking at dry lightning here, because we're not going to see much in the way of activity in this area here. It's the winds and the dry conditions that we'll see there on Saturday. All right, let's take a look at the big picture here. Low pressure. This is eventually going to kind of dive down to the south. This is the cold front that'll be approaching and moving on through. And that's what's going to bring us that rain and some thunderstorms. In fact, the Storm Prediction Center is putting this best chance for thunderstorms here and darker green here just north of the state line here in Oregon, getting in that category 2 here. So kind of interesting when we see that. Typically, we're just in that category 1 here in Northern California. Every once in a while, we might get in the marginal or even slight. But for now, looks like that's the best chances for thunderstorms. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let's take a look at Futurecast. Today, of course, not much going on. You may see a stray sprinkler or light shower in Siskiyou County today, but that's really the extent of it. Just those afternoon clouds developing here. Even a few clouds looks like they're developing near Redding as well. And then we go into your Saturday. Now, Saturday's going to start off dry. The first half of the day, you're going to be like, well, where are those showers and thunderstorms Mike was talking about? Hold on, because it's going to happen. So you can see the clouds coming in here, rain off the coast, and then it just kind of flares up along that cold front, right? So we're seeing just west of Redding at 2 o'clock in the afternoon thunderstorms. Thunderstorms in northern Trinity County and in Siskiyou County as well. And in between all that, I mean, there's going to be some of that stray activity here as we go into the early afternoon hours. And then that kind of pushes northward, and you can see the heaviest activity will be in Siskiyou County. So again, that area of green where the best chance for thunderstorms, this is where it is, right? But still, even the coast, I think, could still be looking at some activity in the north end of the valley, Redding, maybe even Red Bluff. Let's take you into about 6 p.m. Again, we're seeing that activity around Redding, maybe Red Bluff, northward. Look at Bernie, too, getting close to Bernie, maybe seeing that chance for a shower or thunderstorm, maybe even Shingletown. But again, you see how as you head to the south, chances are slimmer. As you head to the east, chances are slimmer there as well. All right, let's take you into about 8 o'clock Saturday evening. Now I think the valley should dry out. Maybe a stray shower or thunderstorm near Bernie. We could see some of this kind of bleed into Modoc County, but honestly, I don't think we're going to see a lot of activity in Modoc County through the day on Saturday or even into Saturday night. Most of it will still be in Siskiyou County. Still some leftover showers and sprinkles out towards Del Norte and Humboldt counties. And then by Saturday night, it's pretty much gone at this point. Still some clouds left over. Now, I will say this, and we take a look at the forecast rain totals. I don't know how well the forecast model is doing with this. The thing is, we're looking at stray scattered showers and thunderstorms. So some areas are going to see a lot more rain than others. So this kind of gives you a general idea. Some spots could see upwards of 0.3 of an inch of rainfall, whereas others could see just a few hundredths of an inch of rainfall. Again, just depends on where you are. That doesn't mean Weaverville will see that much rain. It just means if you get caught under a strong thunderstorm, that heavy rainfall could eventually equal upwards of over 0.3 of an inch of rainfall. But again, just kind of give you an idea, this is where kind of the bulk of that rain will be heading off to the east. Don't pay attention to that. I don't think we're going to see rain for Chester, Quincy, or Portola. All right, let's take a look at futurecast into Sunday. Some of the models indicating maybe a stray shower for parts of the coast here as we go into Sunday. I've included that in there, but really don't count on much, if anything. And then it looks like we stay dry through next week, although there are going to be these storm systems coming in from the Gulf of Alaska, moving its way off in just off the coast here. That could bring some clouds later next week. But overall, wetter than normal conditions, that's not hard to do because any rain we do see is above normal, quite honestly. So that's kind of what we're seeing there with that rain that we will see on Saturday. Now, temperature-wise, this area of low pressure, you see how it's diving down to the south. So that's significant because that's going to keep our temperatures down. It will keep that heat down to the south and east. Now, this with that flow around the area of low pressure, and the difference between these two is a bit of a squeeze plate. That helps to really amplify those winds. They're coming in from the southwest. And I talked about this the last few days, and I'm going to talk about it again. What we're seeing here is that flow coming off the ocean. Now, it's a colder ocean, so we're not going to see a ton of moisture coming out of it. We don't get a lot of evaporation over that ocean, but there is evaporation nonetheless, and that's in the form of humidity for us. So that will kind of move itself into Northern California. As a result, we will see a slight increase in our relative humidities. That will help to slightly offset the impacts of these gusty winds. But bottom line, when you have fires already burning, such as the Park Fire and the Boise Fire in particular, when the winds are blowing from any direction, no matter where it's coming from, it can pose a problem. So that's something that bears watching here as we do go into your Saturday. But again, keep in mind too, we're looking at some of that rain and thunderstorms on Saturday as well. That starts to kind of pull away from the coast. So we may see our temperatures increase a little bit because this high pressure, it wants to build in, but it can't because of this guy right here. So we may see an increase in our temperatures as that area of low pressure kind of pulls away. And then you'll see it kind of wobbles around, it moves up to the north, more coming in from the north here. There's next Thursday. We go into Friday, Saturday, that digs down to the south. Again, the key with these areas of low pressure is just preventing this heat from building in. So I don't anticipate any big heat waves heading our way anytime soon. We should stay below normal for really the next 7 to 10 days and maybe even longer. So there's that near normal category. Normal for the valley now is about 97, 98. So if we can keep it below that, that's still looking pretty good. Warmer temperatures, though, will be down to our south and east. Take a look at August. This is kind of interesting. You think about the first few weeks of August, temperatures over 100 degrees, but this week, boy, it's been just beautiful, right? We've kept it below 100 degrees, a mid-90s on average for the Redding area, and then we extend beyond that, what we anticipate even cooler going into the weekend. Normal high for Redding is 98, so around 97, 98 for the Valley. We should stay below that through all of next week and into the weekend. Looking at your wave heights, looks like they're going to stay fairly low here for your Friday. Saturday, they may increase a little bit here as that storm system approaches, but shouldn't have a very big impact. Northwest winds at 5 knots, waves from the northwest at 2 feet at 4 seconds, and from the northwest at 2 feet at about 9 seconds with some of that patchy dense fog. Here's your Trinity County neighborhood forecast. Thunderstorms on Saturday, dry on Sunday, a bit on the hazy side for today. For the North Coast, dry today. There is the chance for showers and thunderstorms here for your Saturday. Maybe a lingering chance for the coast on Sunday, but for the most part, we do dry out on Sunday, especially for the inland areas, warming back up a little bit here as we go into next week. Your Siskiyou County neighborhood forecast. Hazy today, chance for thunderstorms on Saturday, and then we dry things out on Sunday. Modoc County, what I've included here is that PM chance, a slight chance for some of those to kind of bleed over into Modoc County for Saturday evening. But for the most part, I don't expect to see much in the way of showers or thunderstorms for Modoc County throughout the weekend. Let's take you down to the south and the eastern mountains. No thunderstorms here. However, Fall River Mills, Bernie, Viola, maybe Mineral, and Shingletown. These areas here could possibly see a stray shower or thunderstorm Saturday afternoon, but of course not today. And then, of course, to the east, that should remain dry. For this valley, temperatures in the low 90s today. I've included a slight chance for Chico. Quite honestly, I think Chico, you will most likely remain dry. I'd say dry for the most part, Orland southward. It may come as far south as Corning. North of Corning, that's when the chances begin to increase. So as you head farther and farther to the north, Redding, city of Shasta Lake, Lakehead, you've all got a decent chance to see some thunderstorms, or at least a shower, and maybe a thunderstorm for Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening. Then on Sunday it dries out and it begins to warm up a little bit here as we take you into next week. There's your 7-day outlook for Redding. Of course, isolated thunderstorms, but they're gone by Sunday. But staying cooler for the weekend. Upper 80s, back in the low 90s through a good portion, if not all, of next week.
At Wind River Resort and Casino, we like to celebrate life's little moments. Oh, and the big ones too. Because around here, when you're completely in the moment, that's when the magic happens. Come in and find your moment at Wind River Resort and Casino.